Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Warrior Story. So today I have a story for you guys. You may remember in my 10 facts about me video, I mentioned that I have 2 tattoos and I was currently working on trying to get my 3rd. Well, I got it and I'm super excited about it, and I want to tell you guys a little bit of what it means to me. So let's get started. So I had the idea for this tattoo for a while. I just wasn't sure how I was going to put it all together. And one day I was on the internet looking up just, I don't know, stuff, and I came across the semicolon movement. And if you don't know what that is, it is this amazing thing that's going around for suicide awareness and prevention. And when I saw it, I fell in love with it, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. So if you don't know what it is, like I said, it is for suicide awareness and prevention. And basically how it's described is when a writer can choose to end a sentence but decides to continue it on using a semicolon. And that kind of refers back to when a person can either decide to end their life, or they decide to keep fighting and keep working and trying to live the awesome life that they deserve to have. And that applies to me because a couple years ago I was going through probably the hardest time in my life. I felt like there was no one really on my team. No one wanted to understand or to take the time to try to understand. I had a lot of people telling me to just forget about it and just try to move on, but not really many people trying to work through it with me. So on the days that I was on my real lows, it just hit me really hard, and it was kind of hard for me to bounce back from it. And one day it was just too much, and I ended up overdosing on Tylenol. And I don't really remember too much about that day. It was a couple years ago. It was kind of like a blur because it happened so fast and I wasn't really in that right state of mind. So, but yeah, it was really hard for me. What I do remember though is I got into this big argument, and then it was just one thing happening after another, everything that's gone on through my past, and me feeling like super alone, and I just ended up taking the bottle. And I remember I was crying so hard, probably the hardest I've ever cried in my entire life. And then I just remember feeling this embrace, and I wasn't sure what it was at first, but then I realized that it was my mom, and she was talking to me for a little while, and then I wasn't really responding, but she was talking to me, and then she left, and I sat there and I sat up and I looked at the bottle in my hand, and I just remember thinking, what am I doing? I started thinking about my family, and I started thinking like my mom, my brother, my cousins, and my just all the people that are a part of my life, and how I would be leaving all that behind, and all the strength and everything I've gone to up to this point. I would just be giving it all away, and basically telling all of my demons that they win and I'm giving up because they beat me. And I wasn't okay with that. I didn't want that to be my story. I wanted to try to keep going, to show my brother and my cousin that it's really, really hard, but you can do it if you really try to find it within yourself. You need the support, and that's what I was looking for, and feeling that from my mom was like, you know what? Maybe there are people out there that care about me, and I just have to try just a little bit harder and not give up. So I ended up walking out to her, and at this point I was so dizzy. I was a little bit disoriented. I remember bumping into the wall, and I went out there and I handed her the bottle, and she started freaking out. She was like, oh my God, we have to go, we have to go. We rushed over to the hospital. They told me to we'll be with you in a second. They told me to sit down, and my mom was like, no, you don't understand, she did this and this. And so they rushed me right in. They put me on all these heart monitors and an IV and all of the shebang. And then the doctor asked me about how long it had been since I had taken the medicine, the pills. And I I told him it hadn't been that long, and he said, I think what we can do instead of pumping your stomach is we're going to have you drink charcoal. And I was like, what? And when I say charcoal, I mean charcoal. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was literally ground up like charcoal from the barbecue grill. It was like pureed or something because it was a liquid. But when you drank it, you could like feel the chunks, and it was so gross. That was like probably the biggest eye opener for me, that I was like, this is not okay, and I need to fix something about my life so that I can keep going. I ended up having to be in the hospital for about 3 or 4 days. They had me on, for the first day, I was on a 24-hour suicide watch, and they were monitoring my heart and my liver and stuff like that. And I remember on my last night-ish, they were doing some of the last like blood tests and stuff, and the nurse came to me and she said, you know, you really are one of the lucky ones, because sometimes with this particular thing, Tylenol, it can have like really bad consequences on your heart and your liver, and it's just not something to take lightly. So getting the second chance that I got, I was so grateful and so thankful that I was given, like I said, the second chance, because not many people get it. After that, I did end up getting to go home. And prior to that, I was in like this IOP program, which if you don't know what that is, it's like intensive outpatient program. I was in something kind of like that, but a little bit less intense, I guess, because when I was doing it the first time, I was there 4 days a week for about 3 to 4 hours a day. Now I was going like a couple of times a week, but for not as long, just to kind of keep up with my wellness and make sure I was doing okay and keeping up with everything that I was said was going on from when I left the hospital. I remember that as being a really big, like I said, eye-opener for me. I knew I wanted to change so much about my life. I didn't want to give up, and I didn't want that to be the end of my story. I wanted to keep going. So for the other part of my tattoo, I kind of turned the semicolon into a butterfly, and for me, what a butterfly represents is a new life and a new start, and that's kind of basically what I got when I was able to go home from the hospital after I had attempted the suicide. A lot of times, like how I kind of view it is, a lot of people, like when they see like a caterpillar, they're like, ew, it's a worm, it's like slimy and gross, and get away from me, it's disgusting. And I felt like that's kind of like how people kind of viewed me. No one really gave me that chance. They just kind of looked at me and judged me by my appearance and my weight and kind of like how I was dressed and how I looked, and they didn't really get the chance to really know who I was as a person. Because I don't really like to wear like the fancy, like I guess you could say girly clothes, and I'm not really into makeup. I'm just kind of like more like the chill, we hang out and have fun kind of a person. And I felt like that really let me into so much room for judgment. But now with this new look on life that I kind of had, I was growing and I was turning into like more mature and more self-confident, more self-aware, and it was kind of like my new start, and I was given that second chance like a butterfly, living my new life and being able to continue and keep fighting and keep pushing and striving to live the amazing, incredible life that I was always meant to live and always deserved to live. So all in all, I'm really, really excited about this new tattoo, and I hope you guys liked hearing about it. I know some of you guys are probably like, can we see it already? Where is it? What does it look like? So I was, in my other video I talked about, I didn't know where I officially wanted it to be, if I wanted it to be behind my ear or on my wrist, and it is on my wrist. So that is it. You can't really see it. The zoom is like all craziness, but I'm going to put a picture after this of what it looks like, and I'll put a picture of what it looked like when I got it too, like literally right after like I got out of the booth and it was done. It was all red and crazy or whatever, but it is just solid black, and I designed the pattern for the wings myself. I wanted it to be like a self thing, so it's kind of like a little bit more important and personal to me, whereas like going on the internet and finding a butterfly design and then just like throwing it on there. I got a little bit of inspiration from it, but I wanted it to initially be all like my design. So I'm really excited about that part too. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. It really means the world to me having your guys' support and love. I guess my main purpose for wanting to make this video was just to kind of reach out and maybe help someone who's going through a tough time like I was, and to kind of just let you know that yes, it is hard, and yes, it is a lot of work, but it's so worth it in the end. All of the amazing things to come in your future that you may not think you deserve right now, you 100% deserve it, because you are worth it. You are beautiful, you are important, you are loved, and there's so much more life than what you're going through, and you will make it in the end one day and come out 100 times stronger than you ever thought you could be, with the thickest skin that nothing can penetrate, because you are so strong and beautiful and awesome. So if you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. Give it a big thumbs up for that tattoo. Shout out to Caleb Inc. for doing it, because he's awesome. He's done all of my tattoos and they all are awesome. So shout out to Caleb for that. Make sure to comment down below. Tell me if you guys have any interesting tattoos, and maybe if they have any significance to you. I would love to hear about that. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, because it would make you awesome and it means the world to me. So I hope you guys liked hearing about my tattoo. It was kind of freeing, and it was hard for me at first to talk about it, but in the end, I'm really happy that I shared it with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening too. So I will see you guys next time. That's a wrap.